Alright, so we got her running after a lot of cranking and letting it sit for a while. This is at an assisted idle. As you can see, I put the rubber band on there. Usually with good gas, she idles, or was idling fine before she sat for half a year. The assisted idle has us about 1500 RPMs. No, closer to, 1500 RPMs. Reasonably consistent cycling out the exhaust pipe. I am not certain if all 4 cylinders are firing. Perhaps one can tell from the sound of the bike. When I give extra throttle, it's a little choppy right now. So that was about 6,500 RPMs. Definitely a little choppy. You can hear a little bit of sputtering in there, but a consistent feel from the bike when the throttle's up like that. It shouldn't be up that high for too long, just sitting idling like this. But I'm going to put the parts back on it and take it around the block a couple of times soon here, and get it warmed up again. I've pulled the charger now. It's no longer connected. It's just there in case. This battery, we'll really know if this battery is still good for another season if after a bit of riding at higher than 1200 ARPs, it can hold a charge and start reasonably well. Idle is about 1000, 1100. See, now it is idling now it's totally at idle. Take the rubber band off of there now. And actually, this is a nice idle. I think the gas is probably cycled through by now to the new stuff. Hold on, I gotta drink my beer here. Bikes and beers. And we'll not be riding it at this point. We'll just idle it for a while. What else to say? Definitely looking at it from the front side. I've removed a little bit more of the front. Just the headlight comes off real easy right now because of the lack of fairing. The whole cluster is attached via 2 or 3 bolts right on the tree in there. There. Those 2 bolts, and you can take the entire instrument cluster and oil cooler off. And so it would not be super challenging to turn into a sort of naked bike. I don't know what you'd call it. Not really a cafe racer. It would need a nice, I think, a round headlight and definitely odometer, speedometer, maybe tack as well. We might have to sacrifice the rest of the gauges depending on what's available aftermarket. So I mean, if the fairing's available for it, I have in the box over here a bunch of the leftover bolts. I did not sell them with the broken fairings, just the fairings. And there's the original Honda rear shock and headlights and signal light. As for the paint flaking off of the front fender, I am not sure what that's about. It had started when I bought the bike. It had started at about here, and gradually with the wind and elements been slowly chipped off, and now it just flakes off, eh? So my thinking is that it wouldn't be too difficult to power wash or sandblast or just hand sand all that off and give it a new treatment with if the bike is to be faired again. As for getting rid of this bike, I'm no longer convinced that that's the course to take. However, as you can hear, the engine runs, and it runs reasonably well. Let's take it up to 7,000-8,000 ARPs again, nice and slow. So there, just around the 2,000 RPM mark, get a nice consistent sound and feel. That's around 3,000 ARPs. We go up to 35. Now there's 4. Now bring it up to 4,500. That's 5,000 RPM now. A little bit of rattling back here, but no backfiring at this point. Yeah, now we're definitely putting out a bit of smoke here, so it's probably time to let this thing cool off a bit. So I'll kill the engine with the switch that needs some work. And the exhaust is putting out a little puddle there. It does have a drain hole on the bottom. I do believe it is an intentional hole, not a damaged hole. Having checked the service records from the previous owner, it looks like the chain and sprockets were replaced at around 45,000 kilometers, so 15,000 kilometers ago, which should give, I would say, double that in life. I haven't done a thorough inspection of them at this juncture, but last I rode the bike, the feel was all right, and I did have the chain adjusted then. It will need to be readjusted now. One of the things I will probably be getting on here. Other than that, yeah, the bike's running, and that's all she wrote for now. I will keep plugging away at it. Actually, before I shut this off, let's just fire it up again. So, kill switch is off. So you gotta start with a bit of throttle assist there. See if we can just crank it. There, see? That's nice. Just with the start button. There. This is how this bike is supposed to run. Or start, for that matter. So what you were here for was the clearing out of the dirty gas system. Now, there's a small fuel filter here, which well, if I don't replace it, it should be definitely replaced at this point. And as for the inside of the tank, well, when we were looking in it, I didn't see any major rust or damage in terms of having the gas sit there like that. As for the cooling system, I haven't touched the cooling system in the 2 years that I owned the bike, nor the brake system. However, the calipers were rebuilt just before I bought it, and you know, and the hoses seem to be intact and relatively good-looking condition. As for the rear one, let's have a look. It's got a relatively short line from the reservoir with a protector all the way down to the master cylinder here. And then the hose running to the caliper looks to be also fully protected with extra rubber. Oh, that's all she wrote. Thanks for listening.